Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. Before starting this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Now let's start this video. Implementation of Agreements with Foreigners Part 2. Decision number 123, 1975 prohibits the fishing of Rastriliger, Decapterus, Sarang, Sardinella and other similar pelagic species by purse seines less than 2 in on the wing side and less than 1 in the back. Violation of this rule can mean a revocation of the fishing permit. One of the more important decisions made by Minister of Agriculture is Decision number 907, 1976. It provides for the division of parts of Indonesian coastline into four belts, namely: first, fishing belt, namely coastal waters up to 3 miles from the low water mark along the coast. Here, inboard motorized fishing vessels above 5 GT or above 10 HP, all kinds of trawls, beam trawls, otter trawls, and pair bull trawls, purse seines and the like, encircling gill nets and drift gills net, or nets more than 120 miles long are prohibited. Second, fishing belt, namely waters 4 miles wide measure from the first fishing belt. In this belt, inboard motorized fishing vessels above 25 GT or above 50 HP bottom trawls with other board with head rope length over 12 miles, mid-water trawls or pelagic trawls, as well as pair bull trawls or net over 300 miles along are prohibited. Fishing vessels owned by state fishing enterprise are exempt from the prohibition stipulated for the second fishing belt. Third, fishing belt, namely waters 5 miles wide measured from the second fishing belt. Inboard motorized fishing vessels above 100 GT or above 200 HP, mid-water trawls, otherboard more than 20 miles hit rope, length pair bull trawls, as well as net over 900 miles long are prohibited in this belt. Fourth, fishing belt, namely waters outside the third fishing belt. Here, all vessels and legitimate equipment may be used except pair bull trawls, which may only be used in the Indian Ocean. The regulation also stipulates that except for some specified exceptions, all nets having mesh size of less than 25 mm and purse seines for tuna having mesh size of less than 60 mm are prohibited in all the four belts. In addition, the use of beam trawls, other trawls, and pair bull trawls for pelagic and demersal fishing is prohibited in both the Strait of Madura and the Strait of Bali. All fishing permits must specify the belt where the vessel is allowed to fish. Violations of this regulation may result in the revocation of the fishing permit. The Director General of Fisheries is authorized to strictly enforce this decision. To further regulate the use of trawls, the Minister of Agriculture issued Decision number 609, 1976. This divides demersal fishing within Indonesian waters into 4 zones. Each trawl can operate only in the zone assigned to it, and it must bear a sign with a color indicating its zone of operations. The 4 zones are Zone A in the Indian Ocean, Zone B in the Strait of Malacca and South China Sea, Zone C in the Strait of Karimata, Java Sea, and the Strait of Makassar, and Zone D in the eastern part of Indonesia. The Director General of Fisheries announced that the decision of the Minister of Agriculture, Decision NOS 607, 608, and 609 in 1976 entered into force on 1 July 1978. Since then, 934 trawlers have been arrested in all parts of Indonesia for violating the rules. This represents about 5% of all fishing vessels, about 21,000 vessels operating in Indonesian waters. All of the above mentioned rules and regulations are necessary to conserve all living resources and to protect them from being depleted, especially those that are important for the consumption and the economy of small local fishermen, as well as other resources that are important primarily for the world market. Fisheries along the Strait of Malacca, the Java Sea, the Strait of Bali, and the Strait of Makassar can be classified as within the meaning of the first category, while tuna fishing in the Banda Sea and shrimp exploitation in the Arafura Sea can be classified as within the second category. This fact is particularly important since the livelihood of an important sector of the Indonesian coastal population, numbering over 1 million fishermen, largely depends on fisheries of the first category. The second category is equally important because of its potential to provide sources for foreign exchange, which can be beneficial to the economic development of the country. It is then clear that all foreign vessels operating underwater arrangements in Indonesian waters must strictly observe the above-mentioned rules and regulations. When one discusses agreements concluded by Indonesia with other foreign countries, various situations arise. First, arrangement concluded with Japan for the exploitation of tunas in the Banda Sea. Second, agreement in principle with South Korea toward cooperative efforts in matters concerning fisheries. Third, agreement negotiation between Indonesia and its neighbors, specifically Singapore and Thailand, allowing adjacent neighboring states of Indonesia to continue their traditional fishing rights within specified areas of the Indonesian archipelagic waters. Fourth, agreement to be made with regard to the right of access by the landlocked and geographically disadvantaged states to the surplus living resources in areas that are to become part of Indonesia's exclusive economic zone. Fifth, arrangement made with other neighboring states, particularly Australia, allowing Indonesian traditional fishermen to continue fishing in areas within the Australian exclusive fishing zone, namely within 12 miles from the Australian baseline. The Japanese government claimed that their fishermen had traditionally fished in far distant waters of Indonesia, including the Banda Sea area. This claim certainly ran counter to the Indonesian assertion of archipelagic principles since 1957. The determination of Indonesia to enforce its archipelagic principles has brought about problems affecting its relation with Japanese fishing interests, especially in the Banda Sea area. Protests made by Japan in 1957 and in 1960 failed to placate Indonesia to relinquish its archipelagic principle. Indonesia continued to enforce this principle vis-a-vis the Japanese boat fishing illegally in the area. Various fishing vessels were either arrested, brought to court, or fined or sentenced for violating Indonesian laws. Various efforts by two countries to resolve the matter finally succeeded when both parties signed the interim arrangement in July 27, 1968. The interim arrangement concluded between the government of the Republic of Indonesia and the representatives of the National Federation of Fisheries Cooperatives of Japan and the Federations of Japan's Tuna Fishermen Cooperative Associations regulate tuna fishing by Japanese fishermen who are members of the two associations in the waters between the Indonesian islands. The area covered by the arrangement was the Banda Sea, which is within the archipelagic waters of Indonesia, with coordinate 124 degrees east, 2 degrees south, 129 degrees east, 2 degrees south, 132 east, 3 degrees south, 132 east, 8 degrees south, 124 degrees east, 8 degrees south, and 124 east, 2 degrees south, all specified in the interim agreement. Okay everyone, that's all this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, bye bye.